All right, now that we've adjusted the overall layout and prepared it for the responsive treatment, as I'm referring to it here, we're ready to get going with the, let's call it the second media query, really the medium resolution media query, which of course is going to be enabled whenever our layout is going to be viewed on a tablet device or a medium resolution device. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to take care of just a little bit of housekeeping. I'm going to flip back over to Coda, my coding application. As you can see, by the way, I simplified everything here. I closed out of everything that I had open except for the external style sheet for our Starker's theme, so style.css, okay? All I want to do here is, I was just thinking about this, is I had gone and created container way down at the bottom of my list of rules, down at the bottom of the high-res rules, if that makes sense. So I'm going to take this guy, and I'm actually going to move him. I'm going to select him here and cut him and get rid of a few extra lines of code that I have there. And I'm going to move him up towards the top of the list of rules that will apply to the high-res display, so just above header, okay? So really, this is where master was previously. And by the way, when I save my work and head back to the browser and refresh, Control-Command-R has no impact on the layout that you and I have gone and fixed. All I'm doing here is just organizing my code just a little bit, okay? Just to keep things nice and simple and straightforward. And, you know, while I'm at it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll into the medium resolution media query beneath the high resolution group of CSS rules. And I'm going to go and find his empty container. There he is right there for myself on line 155. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to move him up towards the top of the list of CSS rules for the medium resolution display. Okay, so watch for your media query there. Watch for your header, stick container right in between the two. Okay? All right, good stuff. I'm going to do this one more time for our low resolution display, our third group of CSS rules. So once again, we have container kicking around down at the very bottom of this third list of CSS rules. So once again, I'm just going to move this guy all the way up towards the top of the third list, the low res list of CSS rules, just like so. Once again, between the media query and the header, like so. Okay? So just a little bit of cleaning up, just a little bit of housekeeping here. Now, we're here for the medium resolution media query and setting up our layout to adjust automatically for medium resolution devices. So let's get to it. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to head back to my browser just for a second and just make sure you're refreshed, Control-Command-R there. As you'll recall, if I start to scale the width of my browser window, the medium resolution group of CSS rules, or perhaps more specifically, the medium resolution media query kicks in, and this is the red background on our header that we're getting, which we saw earlier, okay? So you're more than welcome to preview your work using your browser, as I'm doing so here, or you can start to make use of Screenfly, which I think is exactly what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to flip back over to Screenfly, which I still have open here. Inside Screenfly, up towards the top left, we have a tablet drop-down menu, and here we go. We have a handful of popular tablet devices that we can preview our layout on. For instance, the Kindle Fire HD 7-inch. This is how our layout looks on a Kindle, or an approximation of our layout on a Kindle, or a Kindle Fire, something like this. You can see the width adjusted there just a little bit. Or we could go down to any of the others that we have here. Samsung Galaxy Tab, Google Nexus 7, the Apple iPad, all versions of the Apple iPad, or the Kindle Fire HD 8.9-inch screen. Notice that one does not make use of the medium resolution media query. So it's up to you. You can use whichever one of these you want, or you can flip between multiple devices as we start working through the tablet responsive version of our theme. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to use Apple iPad. That's the device that I'm going to be using for my previewing anyway. The other thing that I want to mention is make sure you have your scrolling turned on, okay? And as a side note, if I scroll down inside my layout here, I can see that it's an absolute mess. There's a lot of work that we have ahead of ourselves, so we'll be getting to that, of course. The other thing that I wanted to mention, too, and this is kind of interesting, is many devices will actually make use of multiple media queries depending on the device's orientation. So right now I'm on an Apple iPad in portrait view. But what we can do here inside ScreenFly is we can make use of this option here, rotate the screen. Click on this guy. And now this is how my layout would look on an Apple iPad being held in a landscape orientation. Okay, so notice that it's no longer using the medium resolution media query. It's now using the high resolution group of CSS rules. Okay, so you may want to take some time and explore through and see which devices are going to make use of which media queries. Very cool that we can actually rotate our devices here inside ScreenFly. But at the end of the day, I'm going to make sure that I'm back on Apple iPad and that I am indeed set to a portrait view like so. And the other thing I want to do, of course, is make sure that my scrolling is turned on. And my list of devices, my drop-down menu, doesn't want to disappear on me. There we go, something like that. All right, so I think we are ready to roll now with our tablet device. Let's go get started.